Oh, there we go.
I'm trying to figure this out. This is my like third Zoom.
So how's it going?
The first like I want to say like week, I was in shock like everyone else. Like I was super shocked. I'm very emotional. Even though I don't come across as emotional, I'm always like when I'm working, and I don't mix the two. I'm just like I stay very focused. But I was really feeling kind of because there was a lot of I don't know about like when it comes to the virus, right? Because we're all inside because of this virus. I was kind of getting sad, and so that week I just kind of didn't really do much, and then back. Then I came back and I started. My creative juices started flowing again, and I was before that working on a brand for like a fitness brand. So I was working on that. So I even stopped that for a week. Like I was talking to my distributors and talking to people who are working on putting together like the overall look of what my brand is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
They were reaching out to me and I was like, guys, I can't talk. So I was pretty sad. But now I've decided, like I said, I found my balance and what works for me, and it's working, and I'm getting, my creative juices are flowing again. I'm working, towards my brand again. I was going to shoot a movie right before the pandemic hit and everything got canceled. So I'm still, talking to my colleagues on that movie and hopefully, working on something through that and maybe just writing instead, right? Since I can't, because I'm also an actor. So, and I enjoy writing. So I'm redirecting my efforts, I guess, right now. So I'm excited.
It's strange for everybody, but I feel like especially a performer like you and your husband Brian Cage. I mean, you guys are always on the road, going to shows and working. So how have you been able to adjust to not doing that week in, week out?
I don't think I'm completely adjusted to it. I'm just accepting that this is like when I get out of the sun. I'm accepting that this is something that's happening right now, and that hopefully it will end soon. But I miss traveling, and I miss the fans, and I miss performing, and we're so used to traveling. Even Brian travels a lot more than I do. So because I also am at home with baby. But yeah, we miss it, and we can't wait till this is over. Because I'm like, it's getting it gets to be a little bit too much. So.
Yeah, and I guess with that too, being a performer, everyone's not just performers, but trying to stay in shape and do home workouts and whatnot. And you guys have to do that, especially because you have to maintain a certain appearance, right? So where do you find the time to work out and to do that?
We make it work. We have access to a private gym that no one goes to, and we're the only ones that show up to this place now. So we work out there, which is so we're blessed in that way, because we know that change space.
Yeah.
So, but not everyone has that ability to do that, and even though we have that access, because Brian is rehabbing. I don't know if you guys know, but he's rehabbing his bicep. So he detached his bicep. So he has to stay in rehab mode. And so he's lucky to be able to do that and continue doing his rehabilitation, or else this whole situation would have taken him back like months, right? And we need to get back to work when we're ready to go back full time. So especially him.
So have you chatted with some friends who are in the pro wrestling industry, other actors and stuff? Like, how are they? What's the overall mood between everybody going through this?
I think it's up and down. Sometimes I'll talk to a friend and they're like sad because they can't be creative. We're creative people, and our routine is not. We're not people that actually have a full, like, we don't have a 9 to 5, right? So, and we're always, we're never in one spot.
Yeah.
We're always doing something new, and that is just part of what makes us creative people. And just like yourself, right? Like we're traveling. I think that aspect of it, we just like miss it so much. And when I talk to my friends, like you could tell, like sometimes they get depressed, they get sad, and we're having these conversations, and it's like it's unbelievable, right? Like, but I don't know. I think I think artists always push through sad times like this, and I think it creates like more art. It's like a renaissance. That's the way I'm gonna treat it.
That's a good point because I guess all artists at the beginning start out, even for a long time, as starving artists, where they're trying to figure out how they're going to get to where they
Yeah,
want to go, right? So this is kind
yeah.
of that time where you have to really be creative, and maybe artists are going to
Really
be the
creative,
ones.
yeah. And during these times, like the most beautiful art is created, the most amazing movies are created, like through times of strife and trouble. So I feel that kind of vibe with all my friends, right? And so again, um, I think at the end of the day, this is not going to last forever. And I think 5 years from now, we're going to be talking about this, going, "Oh, I can't believe we went through this,"
Yeah.
right? And hopefully, because of this pandemic, newer and brighter and more creative ideas came from it. That's the kind of that's the I feel like that's the avenue that we are taking now as a whole. I feel like that's like the vibe that I feel from my friends and anyone in the whether they're in the wrestling industry, music industry, acting, all that. So
So speaking of wrestling, how do you feel about some companies still going on with shows, doing live shows with no audience?
it's
If you had that opportunity, would you jump on it?
yeah, I would because I know the fans are everything. So without the fans, without that, there's definitely a huge part of what we do missing. But yeah, I think it would be even worse if there wasn't anything uh, going out there that you can at least watch from home. So it's weird, but it's necessary. And so again, I feel like the redirection of the efforts that everybody is doing at the moment right now, especially in the wrestling industry, I think it's necessary.
Yeah, it's such a weird time. I mean,
Yeah, it's a weird time. We have no choice.
yeah,
So
and so when this is all over and it's like okay, you guys can go back to regular life and you can start traveling again, right? Because you and Brian do a lot of travel as we talked about. Are you going to be willing to jump on that plane immediately, or are you going to need some time to kind of see what happens first?
I'm like already there. I'm already there.
Really?
To cancel. I mean, WrestleMania was so huge. All our bookings, all it just
Yeah.
everything it was just so sad. And man, we had just come back from Barbados, and we were doing. It was such a great show. The Barbados people were so amazing. So it was so much. And Barbados is gorgeous. So we had just come back from there, and we knew that it was getting serious because getting to Barbados, there were people standing in hazmat suits, no joke, fully
Wow.
covered with checking temperature. So if you had a temperature, you were not coming into the country.
When was this?
So
Sorry.
this was March like 6th.
Oh, okay. It was always like
Yeah.
right around the time like got
Yes.
real.
Yes, right around the time where I was getting messages from friends and family going, "Oh my gosh, are you in Barbados?" Are you friends that don't travel and then are involved with the industry and family that just a concern? And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm traveling. Oh, it's getting really bad." And we're like, "Really? Like, no way, right?" I mean, it's gonna be fine. That's what was always my attitude because I never really follow the crowd when it comes to stuff like just especially like cute like group like anxiety like that. So I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because I'm like you, I don't watch the news a lot. I'm just like, I'll be fine. It's gonna be okay. But now we obviously know that it's not, and this is definitely serious. So, but yeah, we were traveling, and I miss it. I don't miss the traveling. I don't miss like being. It sounds weird, but like being in an airport and being on a plane, like I'm just like I love the destination, right? But and being with the fans and performing, so that's always like the end, the end like game. But I even miss being in a plane right now. Like I really do. Like I just miss it all. I just want to go back to real life. Really, so.
And now you just want some resemblance of what we used to do before, you know?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I'll take this shitty airplane fee.
Yeah.
I'm accepting of it. I think that's where I'm at. I'm like, it's fine. We'll get through this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are getting to that point too. Where it's like, okay, this is kind of getting normal, and you got to accept it, and whatever happens next happens, and we just got to get through it, right?
Mm-hmm. And we're all doing this together. I feel like there's power in numbers that way.
I think so.
So yeah, there's an energy, and I think it's shifting. I think people are just not getting strength. I feel like first it was shock, disbelief, like, oh no, this is not going to happen, and then just shock that we're being contained this way. And then now I feel like people are going, okay, this is what we're dealing with, and that's but they found the balance, and this is where we're at right now. At least we are. We're gonna make it out alive, I think.
I think so. I feel like people are coming together.
Yeah,
I live in
yeah.
a little 4 or 5 story condo, and every day at 7 o'clock, people go on their balcony and they start clapping for, the healthcare workers and stuff. When I first heard this, I got the email. I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
kind of corny. I don't know if I want to do that. But then you see all the older people come out, and now every day it's more and more people clapping together and singing "Oh Canada." As cheesy as it sounds, it's actually
You
bringing
guys
people
are
closer
so
together.
cute.
Yeah.
I love Canadians.
Are you guys
I'll
not doing
never
that over there?
forget. I'll never. No, no, no. I think my community is more just like they're just kind of like quiet, keep it very Cali. California people are just like kind of keep to themselves. But there isn't as much. The area I live in is not. We don't live in Los Angeles County. We live in a county called San Bernardino. So we're very suburban. It's like away from like 40 minutes away from Los Angeles. We're like southeast from LA. But in LA, you do see it a lot, especially in the very creative neighborhoods. Like I would 100% do it. Like be like the Italians out there singing, la la la, like, fuck yeah, like that's who I am. Like like yes,
Yeah.
I would be out there. But here it's a little bit different. It's a little bit, but that's fine. It's really cute because as we walk around the community, the cute things that are happening here that just kind of like stand out. People will write messages on like the sidewalks, like God is good and we're making it together. So there's cute little things that I don't think I would have ever been able to. We would never experience anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to see that people don't just hoard toilet paper. Like there's people. It's good to know that there's like there are levels to this, right? Maybe you freaked out and started hoarding all the toilet paper, but then there's like a beautiful side of humanity that we're seeing now that we would have never experienced before. I think it's absolutely if we take anything from this, it would be that humans we inevitably are we're good. Most people are good.
Yeah.
And most people want good things for the world. And it's really beautiful to see people coming together, making masks, clapping, like you said. I'm sure Canadians are just so much more better at this.
No, I don't know.
I wouldn't even know. Like I couldn't even handle an Italian in Canada because it would just be the nicest person in the world. Canadians really are the nicest people. Like I feel like if any country I've ever been to, I'll never forget Brian had just gotten hurt at when he won the championship at Impact, and I had surgery probably 3 weeks on my knee before that. So
Right.
I was recovering from an ACL injury, but I was still working. See, I don't care. I will still travel whether I'm pregnant, like falling apart, like I'm still working, right? And so we're coming back in Canada, and everyone that saw us wanted to help us, like every single person. I was like, this is so weird. People thought we got in a car accident because I was limping. He was in a wheelchair. Crutches, he's in a wheelchair. People just thought, and people were just helping us, and they're just so nice. You guys are just so almost too nice. Like I'm like, stop being so nice.
I mean, everywhere has its good and bad.
Yeah, but you guys are like collectively, everybody is super nice.
Yeah, singing "Oh Canada" on our balcony. So.
Like you guys are singing "Oh Canada."
Yeah.
You guys are on your rooftop singing like, what? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's making people more appreciative, and there's definitely a good vibe out there. Like it's bringing people together.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think if anything, this is bringing people together. I don't know, like certain little frustrations that I maybe had before really don't exist for me right now,
Yeah.
especially when, I don't know. I just think life is so fleeting, and this has really put things in perspective that life is not guaranteed, even though we know that, but we live our lives like we're going to live forever sometimes. And I think it's created the obvious perspective has changed for me, especially. Like I feel like, okay, well, yeah, we are not forever. Mortality is really just like in my face right now. Like you could die from this disease that's like a disease that I can't see. Like I can't even fight it. So it humbled me
Yeah.
personally, and I feel like people are coming together. They're humbled. They're helping each other. They are face to face with their own mortality on a daily. I think that's why the news can be very depressive, right? You're like, oh my gosh, more people died, right? Oh no, this person's 30 years old, young and healthy, they died. It just makes you realize, man, we are not made for forever. And let's be good people right now. Let's help each other right now, because you just never know. So I'm nice. I feel like I'm nicer. I'm nice. Okay, I'm super nice to my
You are.
family. I don't want this to sound like I'm never nice. I just feel like I'm not like like touchy feely huggy. I'm just not that. I just wasn't raised that way, but I have a lot of love in my heart, and I feel like now I'm just letting it all out. I'm like, I love you, mom. I love you, dad, like all the time. Like, I'm calling my aunts and my uncles all the time, especially people that are older. Like, I'm like, no. This has definitely taught me that that people are not gonna live forever, and the fact that this can affect the older people in my life that I love so much, and maybe I don't express myself as much to them. I feel like this has changed me, and I think it's gonna it changed me forever. I'm never gonna be different. You have one thing for sure. I'm never gonna look at a mask, toilet paper, hand sanitizer the same. Like, I feel like I might have PTSD from it. Like, I'm gonna, like, 20 years from now, I'm gonna be, talking to my daughter about this. 30 years from now, talking to my grandchildren about it. Let me tell you a story about 2020.
Yeah, you have no idea what happened.
Toilet paper.
Yeah, that was so interesting. Once all this news started coming out, everyone's like, "Let's go buy toilet paper." It's just a panic thing, Yeah, I know.
I have no idea. I'll never understand that. It's so weird. But people act very weird in the eye of the storm, right? It's something I'm sure they weren't even aware as to why they were doing it. I don't know. I feel like one person started doing it, and then just all hell broke loose.
I think that's what it was. I think someone saw one guy buying like 8 packages of toilet paper, and like, oh my god, I should probably do that too. And then it's just like a ripple effect.
Oh my gosh, why is he doing that? Does he know something I don't know?
Yeah.
Like, it was hysteria. But I think it's calmed down.
So I'll ask you one more thing. So once, I guess, the health officials say, okay, you guys can get out and now go back to, I guess, whatever normal life was before, what's like one thing that you really want to do?
God, I just want to go eat sushi properly, like at a sushi bar and in front of a sushi chef while drinking all this sake. Like, that's one of the first things I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm a big foodie. I love eating, and all I do is stare at food all day on the phone now. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Because it's not the same when you pick things up. Like, there isn't that sense of community that you need, right? So there's that. But then I can't wait to go see my grandma. Like, people-wise, like, I can't older, and she's sickly, and so she hasn't left her house because she's with my mom and forever. And my mom is an essential worker. She works in a hospital.
Oh, wow.
So I always worry that my mom might accidentally bring something back to her, and then my mom and my grandma and my dad is sitting, so I can't wait to see them without being scared. I'll probably still be wearing a mask for a while. That's another thing that I feel like will change. You'll see people probably with masks for a while. It's scared, right? Until maybe a vaccine shows up. But yeah, that's one of those things that I'm going to go do.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking time to come out and just chat for a bit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I hope you, Brian, and the family stay safe, and all the best.
I will. Thank you. I'll let them know.